Arnold's new goal was to have at least 1,000 heavy bombers attacking Germany every day that the weather cooperated, deploying fleets so huge that the Luftwaffe would be engulfed, overwhelmed, and given no chance to recover. But time was running out to prove his case. With the recent Allied invasion of Sicily in July and the continuing demands of King and MacArthur in the Pacific, there was ever-growing pressure on him to divert his air resources from the 8th Air Force to other commands and combat theaters. It was now or never. The early morning of September 1 was black with rain as Arnold's C-54 Skymaster finally reached landfall over the Irish coast after flying more than 2,000 miles. His navigator established their position, and Captain Niswander turned onto the compass heading for Prestwick, Scotland, which was 30 miles southwest of Glasgow, along the Firth of Clyde. When the weather worsened, Niswander was forced to fly solely on instruments. As they approached Prestwick, he contacted ground control and was told that due to heavy rain and fog, the ceiling was less than 200 feet. A waiting line of military aircraft was stacked up and circling the fog-bound field at different altitudes, including more than 50 B-17s and B-24s that had flown out of Gander ahead of Arnold's Skymaster. Many of the pilots and crews were new, and they were running out of fuel. With its 4,000-mile range, the Skymaster had enough gas to circle the field for hours. This was one of the rare occasions when Arnold's impatience was tempered by the knowledge that men's lives were at stake. He ordered Niswander to wait until all the fortresses had landed before attempting his approach. A ground control officer at Prestwick radioed Niswander to urge him to divert to another airfield, but Lieutenant Fisher, the plane's navigator, couldn't locate the airfield on his map, and the ground control officer couldn't tell him where it was. Arnold asked Captain Niswander to set the Skymaster's radio to the frequency being used by the B-17 and B-24 pilots and to pipe the feed into his compartment. One after another, he heard the pilots calling in. "Number 26, 180 gallons of gas left," radioed one officer as Arnold recorded his words in his diary. "Number 32, 60 gallons left." The planes were being brought down by the controllers, one by one. As the C-54 continued to circle in the dense fog, several of Arnold's staff officers became visibly nervous. He set them at ease by casually regaling them with stories of his own past crashes. Minutes later, one of the B-17s crashed, trying to land. All aboard were killed, and the runway needed to be cleared before the controllers could resume landings. Soon after, a second B-17 went down after running out of fuel. Its crew was lost as well. Then Arnold heard another pilot over the radio. "This is number 62, came the laconic voice. "You won't have to worry about us anymore. I'm plumb out of gas. So long."